There's a politician here, he shall disappear. He shall disappear. And there will be talk. Have they been kidnapped? Have they been? And that's not what you know. And then people shall wonder, where have they gone? Because they cannot be found. It shall have come from here. They went and did not come back. I'm seeing all the interviews.
Uganda's opposition figure, and that is Kizza Besigye, is reported missing, and this is after allegedly being kidnapped right here in Nairobi.
31st October 2023.
There's a politician here he shall disappear. He shall disappear. And there will be talk. Have they been kidnapped? Have they been? And it's not what you know, because they will appear like there is no reason whatsoever, because they are not antagonistic. This is not what you have heard, what you have seen. This is something that shall happen, and then people shall wonder, where have they gone? Because they cannot be found, and yet they are not controversial to experience some of these things we have seen and know. This is something different. The Spirit of God says, when that happens, more revelation will come upon us. And the eyes, because it shall have come from here, and the eyes of the nations shall confirm that the eye of the Lord is indeed here. Brasereboko soria ramakasarama. Midamaramakasama. They went and did not come back. I'm seeing all the interviews.
In a powerful display of the spirit of prophecy, 1 year and 3 weeks later, national and international media news outlets were hit by the breaking news of the disappearance of renowned Ugandan politician Dr. Kizza Besigye, which sparked speculations of a possible kidnap, precisely as the prophet had highlighted.
Uganda's opposition figure, and that is Kizza Besigye, is reported missing, and this is after allegedly being kidnapped right here in Nairobi.
They went and did not come back. I'm seeing all the interviews.
The prophecy mentions that this politician went and did not come back, and that this would be the focus of all interviews. And in a stunning fulfillment of prophecy, Dr. Kizza Besigye's trip to Kenya and subsequent kidnap and appearance in a military court in Uganda caused international uproar, with international news agency interviews focusing on concerns about breach of Kenya's sovereignty and violation of international protocol.
We should not be discussing Besigye. We should be discussing where is the sovereignty of the Kenyan state. We should actually be calling our executive to account that how have you allowed foreign mercenaries to be running amok within the Republic of Kenya? That, to me, is a great indictment. The Ugandans have their issue with Museveni and what he's doing to Besigye. But Kenyans must have their issue with their leadership, that what is happening to our sovereignty today.
The authorities in Kenya say they're investigating the alleged abduction from Nairobi of prominent Ugandan opposition politician Kizza Besigye. Human rights groups accused Kenya of a pattern of collaborating with foreign powers over the rendition of political opponents.
For his liberty to be curtailed in a sovereign state like Kenya, and no action is being taken by the Kenyan government against the sister country, violating the territorial integrity of Kenya, obviously it means they are complicit to what is happening. That's the reason we are going to put them to task.
The prophecy reveals that the politician's disappearance came from here, alluding to the nation of Uganda, and in an awesome display of the power of prophecy, revelations in the aftermath of Besigye's kidnap from Kenya and arraignment in Uganda would reveal the Ugandan government was at the heart of and orchestrated this international incident.
Forum for Democratic Change say he was abducted by Ugandan security operatives, brought back to Uganda on Sunday and detained at a military facility.
While national and international news reports focused on Kenya's responsibility for Dr. Besigye's disappearance on their turf, the Kenyan government denied any involvement and responsibility for the abduction.
He was abducted.
Yeah, and he was abducted from an apartment on Riverside.
He was abducted from not too far from here, as you say.
Yeah.
The reality, though, is that this is not the act of the Kenyan government.
At the time of this disappearance, Dr. Kizza Besigye had no known issues with the government of Uganda or its national security agencies, making the news or reasons for this disappearance a complete mystery.
Does government know? Are you aware? Do you have Dr. Kizza Besigye with yourselves?
For now, I cannot deny or confirm whether he's being held.
Why would you go to the extent of, if UPDF did that, to the extent of arresting Kizza Besigye with a known home in Uganda? Why would Uganda arrest him in Nairobi? So amazing. It says a lot about this country and the levels of human rights abuse in this country.
Because they cannot be found, and yet they are not controversial to experience some of these things we have seen and known. This is something different.
Besigye is an old man. Looking at Besigye, those of us who loved him when he was youthful and having interacted with him, he's now an old man, whom you can just summon and he would come and appear before you. Arresting somebody like that and run with him in breach of all protocols of foreign protocols is wrong.
And this should remind us, if that happens to a senior international person, a leader like Dr. Kizza Besigye, abducted on Saturday, all of Saturday nobody knows, all of Sunday nobody knows, all of Monday nobody knows. It is Tuesday, there's no statement whatsoever.
When that happens, more revelation will come upon us. And the eyes, because it shall have come from here, and the eyes of the nations shall confirm.
The prophet revealed that following the kidnapping and revelations around the politician's incarceration, the eyes of the nations would be focused on Uganda because of its role, and true to the accuracy of the prophetic word, in the aftermath of Besigye's kidnapping, the focus of global media and the international community was drawn to Uganda government's involvement in his disappearance and incarceration, and condemned the Ugandan government's actions.
The United Nations has expressed concern and urged due process after reports that a Ugandan opposition politician was abducted in Nairobi, Kenya, and subsequently arraigned at a military court in Kampala, Uganda.
Uganda's opposition leader has appeared in court accused of compromising national security. Charges Kizza Besigye denies. His lawyer says that he was abducted days earlier during a book launch in neighboring Kenya, prompting outrage among rights groups.
As those privileged to be in fellowship alongside Prophet Elvis Mbonye, accord God's mouthpiece in our day, the prophet to the nations, Prophet Elvis Mbonye, as worthy of double honor.